Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watching is here with the latest update on the tropics. So today I'm going to be talking about what's going on in the West Pacific and also what's going on in the Atlantic. So first, we're just going to start off with a little introduction. I do have Bobby back. So welcome back to the stream.
Great to be back.
We're going to be talking about Tropical Storm. I forgot the name of it already. Chaba. It's got about 55 knot winds. That's about 65 miles per hour. Its air pressure is down to 982 millibars, and it still is expected to become a 70 knot typhoon. That's about 80 miles per hour, and it is expected to bring storm surge, gusty winds, strong winds up to 80 miles an hour near the area of landfall. Gusty winds, storm surge, and obviously heavy rain. Lots of heavy rain will be with this, very likely. As you can see, here is the latest satellite imagery of Tropical Storm Chaba. I do want to look at radar for this area. There is more new deep thunderstorm activity near the center of circulation, which does indicate that there will be more likely going to be more. It's going to try to strengthen a little bit more, and it could intensify to, it's expected to become a typhoon. All right.
Yeah, the thing with these types, and especially in the Western Pacific, you'll also notice how, like, if you look at say for example, an Atlantic hurricane compared to a West Pacific typhoon, you'll also notice how there's much more purple on these storms. That's because they have a lot more energy to work with. They have more explosive energy than the Atlantic does, because the Atlantic does run on limited energy, so you don't get to see this very many. So that's how you can distinguish between a typhoon and a hurricane when it comes to different sides of the world.
Yeah, with typhoons, they're usually bigger. They're deeper. What I mean is there's more deep thunderstorm activity. There's higher cloud tops. The cloud tops are colder. So there's going to be much more pink and probably even purples in those on infrared satellite. With the Atlantic, yes, you do get that, but not as much. Like with the Typhoon Haiyan, it was pretty much nothing but what looked like a purple storm on infrared satellite. Haiyan was a typhoon for the record books. Radar.
So of course, this does look like it's going to hit China. I don't exactly know the providence that lies on where it is expected to hit, but as you can see, there's that big island over there that is kind of getting some of the big thunderstorms currently.
Yep. Is this loading yet? No, it's not working yet. I don't know why. We may indeed have a problem. Hold up. I need to go to... Yeah, this could be a slight problem. Everything is taking an extremely long time. And I don't know why everything is not wanting to load. This is not making
sense. On top of that, especially with Tropical Storm Chaba, there is also Tropical Storm. We decided we don't know exactly how to pronounce it, honestly. We try to say it. Did we just settle on AERE?
AERE or AERE?
Yeah, one of those. And it is up to a system to the northeast of Chaba, where of course that system is dealing with a ton of wind shear from the outflow boundary of Chaba.
Oh yeah.
And which that system does look like it's going to move north towards Japan and possibly Korea. current forecast from the Joint Typhoon Warning, they do expect the system to, at the moment, basically gap between South Korea and Japan. However, the cone of uncertainty is quite massive, so it could definitely hit either or of the countries.
Yeah, I know. It's not expected to be a rather strong system. It's expected to be rather weak. I think it's going to be rather, weaker. It's like 35, 40 knots upon its closest approach to the two countries. So really, it's not going to bring much of a threat. I don't think it's going to be much of a threat. Maybe some rain, and that's about it. Storm surge not going to be a problem. Rip currents, always going to be a problem regardless of the intensity of the tropical system. Rip currents are usually almost always a problem when it comes to their proximity to land. So it's going to be bringing rip currents, that's for sure. It's probably going to be rip currents affecting that area quite shortly.
Yes. But so yeah, as of right now, I do believe if since Chaba is the stronger out of the two, and it is the most closest to landfall, if I am not mistaken, it does look like it will be a typhoon at landfall, if I'm from what I can see so far.
Right. Let me see if I can move over here and take a look at the two systems over here. Oh, hold on. I know why my computer's being slow. I'm just going to end this stream on Discord. That's probably taking up a huge amount of computing power. Dang, the Pacific Ocean's so big, it's taking me so long to get to the other side of the world. Alright, let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's a 65 mile per hour. I almost said typhoon. 60 mile an hour tropical storm. It is expected to reach as strong as 80 miles an hour prior to landfall. It is now in radar. So I'm going to turn off the tropical storms. But with wind, you can really see that one is really strong. You see 60 miles an hour. There isn't a whole lot of super strong wind near the storm, but or a lot of heavy rain near the center, but there is a lot of heavy rain in the outer bands. Definitely moving in this area. I do think it's going to be making landfall in the province of, is it Guangdong? Is that how you pronounce it? Guangdong province of China? Do you know? Oops. Alright, well, I'm just now getting information that tropical from O2L Center is now closed according to RECON, and it's under deep thunderstorm activity, and there's a possibility finally, after 4 days, almost 100 hours of waiting, literally, we might finally have a tropical storm. So I'm going to try to go to tropical tidbits and hope that my computer doesn't freeze up.
Yeah, and I will be 100% honest. I've been very, very negative on this storm. I do still, at this moment, even though it may have a closed circulation, or RECON has confirmed that there is a circulation underneath the convection, and we may very well be dealing with a tropical storm now, I still do not believe it'll become very much. I've been very negative on this storm ever since it was designated. Of course, I still will bite my tongue if it does become Tropical Storm Bonnie. That is if. However, it does seem like it will move into the eastern Pacific and could potentially strengthen a lot more on that side of land.
Yeah, with what we're seeing with the system, if it does, with potential Tropical Cyclone Two, it may very likely it will move into the East Pacific and is expected to become not only a tropical storm, but also a hurricane. It's expected to peak at around, well, from what we're seeing right now, at around 80 miles per hour. Well, you can see here the wind speeds. It did find an air pressure, I think, close to like 1,006, maybe as low as 1,005 millibars. With what we're seeing here with the aircraft reconnaissance, there's a pretty good chance we could certainly see this. There's 1,006, 1,005.9 millibars. So storm's not super well defined in terms of air pressure, but it's trying to get there. It's trying to get itself together. Yeah. With what we have here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the system has probably at best, maybe another, 10 to 12 hours before it does go over land in Central America. So if the system does, if they do decide to name the system, it will not be very long.
Yeah, it will be. By the end of the day, it would have already made landfall by this evening. It's supposed to make landfall this evening, correct? Let me just look at the Hurricane Center and see what they're saying in terms of landfall, because I think it's like 12 hours or something from now is when it is expected to make landfall. I do want to just make sure get that right.
Yeah, according to National Hurricane Center, in their newest advisory, their 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, their intermediate advisory 15A, they do say that landfall is actually, it does seem like it's going to be a little later than what we are expecting it, because it does have it over land at 2 a.m. on Saturday, so tonight into tomorrow morning. So it looks like landfall will probably be about midnight tonight. That is Central Daylight Time. So we're talking probably another, from what this says, probably another, 16 to 18 or 16 to 20 more hours left until the storm does make landfall.
Yeah, and just so y'all know, tonight, I think at 7 o'clock tonight, I will attempt to do a stream, a very, very, very long live stream regarding the landfall of this system. We will be doing a live stream as it does make landfall. So people, we'll give you all's opinion. We'll get as much data as we can from different websites. And we'll try to get what we can and try to get as much data, radar data, satellite data, and give y'all what we think is going to happen with this storm. Now this evening, I do not believe Bonnie will be, or Bonnie, I just named you the tropical storm. Bobby will not be on here. There will be other people on here tonight. Sorry, his name is really close to the possible name that we might get here in a few hours. Bonnie. But yeah, we will be doing a long live stream after probably about 10 o'clock tonight. It will be automated, and it will just be satellite. There'll be music in the background. We'll have information scrolling at the bottom about the latest advisory. Some of the advisories at the bottom will be kind of late because there really won't be anyone to update it, because I'm the only one in the studio who works in the studio, unfortunately. But from what we have right now, we will do a live automated stream tonight as the storm makes landfall. So be ready for that.
Yeah, and as you can see on the screen, it does say by hour 36 it will be over the Pacific Ocean. So if this does become Tropical Storm Bonnie on the Atlantic side, it will quickly become Tropical Storm Darby on the Pacific side, and as you can see on the later hours, one on the 96 hour and the 120 hour, they do expect this to become a Category 1 hurricane.
And possibly a Category 2 if it overachieves, 85 knots, or 85 knots, 85 miles an hour. I think 96 miles an hour. Is it 96 where Category 2 starts? 96 to 110?
Yes, 96 to 110 is Category 2.
That's what I thought. Like, it's 95, I think is where it ends. Yeah. 90.
Yeah.
It could become a Category 2. Now, regardless if it does, it's not going to affect anyone. It's going to be in the Pacific Ocean. But the good news about this is it will look fascinating on satellite if that does happen. And if it does become a Category 2, it will be the second storm that will become a Category 2 in the East Pacific Ocean in 2022. The first one was Agatha, and it did break a record for being the earliest Category 2 storm ever in the East Pacific. It was a May storm. We did do live coverage on that as it made landfall there in Mexico. It was very, very interesting. Alright.
Yeah, so...
I don't think RECON's showing anything crazy. On aircraft reconnaissance, won't they put like a dot on tropical tidbits where you go to aircraft recon, where the pressure's at, where the center's at?
Just give me a moment. I'm replying to in the chat right now.
Oh no, you're good. Alright, so this is what we got going on right now with this system here in the Western Atlantic. Hold up, I completely forgot. I need to go to YouTube momentarily, because if I don't, I will not answer any comments. I completely forgot about this, so let me get that brought up right now. Let me just put this on satellites. So as you can see, that is the latest satellite imagery of potential Tropical Cyclone 2. You can clearly see deep thunderstorm activity. Blowing up there right now. So this storm is continuing to move westward. God, I don't know how fast it's moving. It's probably moving close to between 15 and 20 miles an hour. It's starting to slow down, I think, a little bit more, but still clipping along pretty quickly. Earlier, it was moving at 30 miles an hour, and the two main reasons it wasn't able to develop and become a tropical storm earlier on is when storms move so fast, when they're moving fast, they can't organize. It's very hard for them to organize and come together when they're moving fast, because they can't take advantage of the conditions they're in, because they're going into new conditions all the time, and there's a lot going on, there's a lot changing, its conditions are changing all the time, because it's moving so fast. It was moving at 30 miles an hour across the southern Caribbean Sea. I couldn't think of what it was called, but that's why it wasn't able to develop as quickly as it was, really and honestly expected. See what we got going on here. Chaba and AERE and Tubani, yes. I'm from Costa Rica, and they say skies starting to get pretty dark. Yeah, it is. You can see down here. You can see the thunderstorm activity down here in Costa Rica. PTC Two is indeed heading towards Nicaragua and Costa Rica, so you guys will get a lot of rain. Yeah, it is not looking good for that area. You can see Costa Rica and Nicaragua there. You can see the outer band starting to affect that part of Central America.
So for how slow this thing is going to get, I highly doubt it's going to slow down too much. I mean, it has already slowed down from its 26 mile an hour pace from 2 days ago to, as of currently, it is currently moving at, I just had it here, at 18 miles per hour, but at most I see it slowing down to about 15. But after that, it's just going to go blowing by the Central America, just dumping all the rain that it has, and then just moving on to the Pacific and becoming a possible hurricane.
So the good news with this storm is it's not going to stall. It's going to keep moving on. It's not going to be like a Harvey or a Dorian or a Florence. It's not going to stall and just dump like 80 inches of rain. That's not going to happen. Yes, before I say anything, I need to look at what the models are saying before I say it's going to like dump a foot of rain. I need to see what the models are saying. But yes, it will dump a lot of rain over Central America. It is not going to slow down. It's going to move right along. I was showing earlier that they don't even show it becoming a depression. They show by the time it gets to the East Pacific, it will still have winds about 40 miles an hour. I did hear if the low-level circulation stays intact over land and it makes it to the other side, it will keep its name. Is that true?
So if it okay, so if a storm gets named on the Atlantic side and it moves on to the Pacific side, it will not keep its name. It will take the next Pacific name. However, a lot of people, and I don't know if this is officially done, but you will use both names where it would be Bonnie Darby, but most of the time they would just call it one name for whatever side of, if it's on the Atlantic side, they'll just keep calling it, in this case, Bonnie if it does form, and then on the other side they'll name it Darby if it does indeed become Darby.
All right.
But
yeah,
in the history books, it will go down as both names.
Yes, because I was watching KTU11 last night, and he said if it keeps this low level circulation, it will stay Bonnie if it becomes named Bonnie. But I'm like, that doesn't really make any sense if it's going in the East Pacific. So we'll just see what happens what the Hurricane Center says. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that because I hear a lot from both sides. It will change its name if it moves over, regardless if it keeps the circulation or not, or it will not keep its name. It'll keep it or not. But we'll just see what happens if it does keep it or if it doesn't keep the low level circulation. But based on what
I would like to also switch over to Chaba here in a moment. That way we can just go over that real quick again. That way, because that is our probably biggest threat system at the moment.
Right, doing that right now. And I have do you want satellite up? Do you want... Yeah, satellite I guess would be the best.
Yeah, satellite might be the best.
Visible shortwave. There we go. So that's what we got right now with Chaba. As you can see, deep thunderstorm activity. It looks like is it just me or does it look like it's starting to take a farther jog to the west here? Let me.
That was forecasted to be. That was pretty forecasted that would happen. It does seem like it was going to. It does seem like the forecast did have it kind of jot to the west just a slight bit, but it should not deviate from its northern track.
Right, it should still make landfall. It's going to make landfall in China no matter what. It's not going to take a random jog to the extreme east. That's not going to happen.
No, if we're able to find a good enough view of this, we will actually notice that this system is very, very massive.
Oh yeah, there is a zoom out option on Tropical Tidbits, True Color Zoomed Out. I mean, you can see it takes up pretty much the entire South China Sea. It's so big, even on the zoomed out, you can't see the entire thing. It's just so incredibly massive. It's huge. The outer
now,
bands,
just because it's just because it's not it's just because it's massive, it doesn't mean that it's going to be like this, category 5 super typhoon. That's why the system has probably not exploded as much as it has, just because it is so massive that it's taking for a long time for the energy to feed into the center of the storm, and that's why we're seeing this slow and gradual strengthening.
Yeah, it for a storm this large to intensify super quickly, it needs a lot of energy over a huge area, which is why Typhoon Haiyan intensified so quickly. Not only was it a massive storm, it was the entire size of the Philippines north to south. and but you had 30, I think it was like 30, 31 degrees centigrade waters, and it was deep. It was like 300 meters below the surface of 26 degrees isotherm is how deep the water went. It was like 200 to 300 meters. It was fucking crazy. It was incredibly crazy. But I do believe that the reason that storm developed so much faster than we're seeing with Chaba is because it had a huge amount of extremely hot water and a lot of energy, and it went to a depth, a pretty good depth, until it was able to intensify very good because there was such a large amount of energy over a large region.
Yes.
But with this system, I actually don't know what the TCHP is, the Tropical Cyclone Heat Potential. Let me see if I can look that up.
Yeah, and while you do look it up, yes, we are it is forecasted that Chaba will become a typhoon, and it will be a typhoon at landfall. So.
The Northwest Pacific. Okay, so I see here. Oh wow, the TCHP and the wow. So I just now noticed the TCHP in the West Pacific, it goes up a lot higher than it does here in the North Atlantic. That's because I guess there's usually a lot more energy out there. But you can easily see there, east of Papua New Guinea, there's easily 200 kilojoules per square centimeter. But if you look where the storm is here in the South China Sea, we may be seeing 80, maybe 100 kilojoules per square centimeter. So the energy is a lot less in the South China Sea than what we were seeing during 2013 during Typhoon Haiyan. So there's a lot less energy, and it's having to take what energy there is, and it's having to take it. There's not enough energy for it to go through, explosive convection, if that's even a meteorological term.
We can definitely make sure that is a term.
I think that's a term, right? Explosive convection. Because I know rapid intensification is a term. They use that all the time. It's called RI. But when it's like going beyond rapid intensification, like freaking Hurricane Patricia, I think it intensified by 120 miles an hour in 24 hours. It was something just unreasonably it was incredibly it was terrifying. What time will the storm be entering Costa Rica? It's not expected to make at the moment. It's not expected to make landfall in Costa Rica, but it will southern Nicaragua, northern Costa Rica by later tonight. So it's gonna be later tonight. I think about midnight, right?
Yeah. So the time frame, National Hurricane Center has it as making landfall at about. Probably anywhere between 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time to about midnight Central Daylight Time.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty late. It's going to definitely be in the night hours. If you are, just saying this out loud, if you do happen to be in the path of this storm, make sure if you have the ability and the means to evacuate, get out of harm's way. Because this, regardless of how much intensity it brings, it is going to bring a lot of heavy rain. And I do believe
this system is indeed hitting places that are still recovering from the 2020 hurricane season with Eta and Iota, where they got hit by 2 Category 4s within a time span of, I think it was a week and a half.
It was an extremely short period of time.
These places are still trying to recover from that. So of course, they do not need another one of these as of right now.
It was those storms were catastrophic. They were 150, 155 miles an hour, something like that.
I do believe Yeah, one of them was 150 and the other one was 155.
Yeah, they downgraded the other one, even though it had an air pressure. I think the air pressure was like what 917 millibars,
Yes.
something crazy low, and it just kind of blows my mind how low the air pressure was. Um, but I think for Matthew, the air pressure was like 932 or something like that. When it was North and South America, and it reached that Category 5. So interesting how you have air pressure can be so much lower, but still not be supported to be a Category 5.
But yeah, so I do want to let you know that, of course, those in Costa Rica and Nicaragua, yes, it may start raining now. Be prepared that this rain may last for a couple of days. It may start, watch out for flash flooding, especially in low-lying areas. So, and this is going to be probably the next day or so, because this storm is not going to stick around. It will rush through.
Yeah, it's going to be a fast-moving system. Let me just take a look here at the models momentarily. I want to get an idea of what they could see in terms of rainfall, so they have an idea of how much rain they could be experiencing from this system, because they are going to be getting a lot of heavy rain from it. So precipitation moisture, total accumulated precipitation. So as you can see, right down here, this in inches or up to 12 inches of rain right on the coastline. It does look like the center is going to really make landfall there in Costa Rica. This is just what the GFS model is showing. Now, northern Costa Rica, southern Nicaragua is going to see the direct impact of this system. And up to 10 to 12 inches of rain is expected, but it's been moving fast. The southern dropped a lot of rain, but I don't think you're going to see, 40 inches of rain or something unreasonable. Expect anywhere from 6 inches to 12 inches of rain in that area is what I would.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed is that the GFS does want to have most of the rainfall in Costa Rica.
Yes.
So that is something interesting. Of course, if you look at other models, they'll probably say, a little bit different here and there. But yeah, as she said, go ahead and just prepare for anywhere between, I'm going to say, 6 to 18 inches of rain between now and whenever the system does move on.
So do what you need to do. Prepare for power outages. At this point, you should, I believe the standard is everyone should have a gallon of water in a household. Make sure you have batteries. Charge your phones up. If you have battery packs, make sure they're charged up. If you have a generator that's gas powered, make sure you have enough gasoline to keep it powered throughout as long as you can, as long as the power is out. Make sure you have all your medicine stocked up. Make sure you don't have any perishables, or try to eat the perishables while you can before the power goes out. Make sure you have food for your pets if you have any. Make sure if it does begin to flood and you do have a 2-story, try to bring as much of the important stuff that you want to save up to the 2nd story. If you only have a 1st story, try to put all the stuff up on a bed or a table, or a shelf, or in the cabinets that you want to save, so they don't get ruined. That's what I would recommend. The only reason I know that is, it was 2001. My parents lived through Hurricane or Tropical Storm Allison, and just enough rain fell to get everything ruined. The bottoms of the chairs were ruined. It was horrible. But just so you know, try to get everything on a bed, on a table, in the cabinets, on shelves, so that it doesn't get flooded and ruined. Things that you want to save.
So I do want to also mention real quick about the now completely dissipated 95L. So 95L will not be named after everything. It has gone inland. It has no chance of forming. However, it does present a lot of rain chances for the southeast Texas and western Louisiana. They are expecting anywhere between 2 to 3 inches for some areas, which is good for that for this area of the country because we are in a pretty deep drought. So this will help that. Just wanted to at least catch up on that. That way, people know that yes, 95L is no longer has no longer have a chance to form. However, that does not mean that the rain threat that it poses has diminished at all. It will have at least some significant rain to put Southeast Texas out of the drought that it was in.
So as you can see here with the radar, wish I could zoom this in a little bit more. But I have a better website. I'm so sorry. Martnissenbaum radar. This is a really good radar site. RADAR. FSU, Florida State University. I don't know why the internet, because I mean I've actually gotten better internet. I now get about 500 to 600 megabits a second. I think it's my computer. It's just not wanting to. It's been really slow lately. So for Index 95L, trying to find where I'm going. This one's the best right here. And this is gonna take a lot, but I like to do lots of frames. So as you can see, there's been quite a lot of rain, sort of just sitting there right off the coast, and it's moving inland. You can see down there in southwest Louisiana, Lake Charles has gotten quite a bit of rain. Unfortunately, Houston and Harris County farther inland has really not gotten a lot of rain from this at all, unfortunately, and we need it really badly. There was a band that went through, but it's all going to the north and to the east. Nothing's really going west towards northwest Harris County up to Conroe or Bryan or Austin. It's just staying really east and south of I-45 is really what I'm seeing. South of I-10, east of I-45 for the Houston area is what I'm saying. Don't really have a whole lot more to talk about when it comes into the regards of this system. It's just gonna bring some rain to southwest Louisiana. So we're gonna go back to visible satellite over here and talk a little bit more about Nicaragua and Costa Rica and the developments of this system here. Wonder if they're gonna come in here and see what they got. But yeah, it does seem that they did find an air pressure close, very, very close to 5,006 millibars. Does anyone have any other comments, questions, or concerns?
So from what I am hearing, this is breaking news. National Hurricane Center has now officially dubbed potential Tropical Cyclone 2 as now Bonnie. We now have Bonnie.
Yeah, I see that. Let's go to the National Hurricane Center. See the latest update. Tropical Storm Bonnie, Tropical Cyclone Update, National Weather Service, National Hurricane Center, Miami, Florida, at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Friday, July 1st, 2022. Disturbance becomes a tropical storm. Data from an Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that the disturbance has now become Tropical Storm Bonnie over the southwestern Caribbean Sea with maximum sustained wind of 40 miles an hour. Air pressure is down, or where's the air pressure? 1,005 millibars. So we finally and eventually, we knew it was gonna happen sooner or later. Well, I kind of had the idea it was gonna happen eventually. I didn't think it was gonna take this long though. I knew. I was like, okay, it's gonna become Bonnie, right? Gonna have Bonnie, right? Okay, not for another like week. It eventually happened, but we now have Tropical Storm Bonnie.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that we just didn't expect South America to really hinder its progress as much. So now that it is in the southern Caribbean, we do now, and here at 8:18 a.m. Central Daylight Time, or 9:19 or 9:18 Eastern Daylight Time, of course 13:18 UTC, we officially do have Tropical Storm Bonnie.
Yep. It eventually happened. I was like, God, it took forever. That's for sure.
Yes, there could be more tropical waves coming off of Africa. However, it is early in the season, and there's a lot of Saharan dust right now. So, we would definitely have to wait till later in July and early August to really start seeing them roll off of Africa. But yes, there could definitely be more tropical waves coming off of Africa, but not every single one of them will form. But yes, we will see tropical waves coming off of Africa.
I think that once we get into the end of July, into August, September, and October, that's really when it's gonna, I think storms are gonna just start developing like crazy. I don't know. I just think this, once we get into another, I think we're starting to go to a suppressive phase a little bit. We're not going to get a lot of storms for the first portion of July, I don't think. But once we get closer to August, I do think we could get a lot more storms, and we could see it could get a lot. It's going to look a lot. We're going to see a lot more activity. Right now, I know we don't see a lot of storms, but trust me, once everything lines up perfectly with the atmosphere and everything works with each other, I think it's gonna start to look pretty ugly, unfortunately. All right. Not sure what else to talk about. Can Tropical Storm Bonnie strengthen further? Is it possible? Well, we'll have to see what the next update says. That will be at 10 a.m. I will not be here. I will be at work, having breakfast. But finally, we now have the development of this. We do see, you can clearly see heavier radar, heavier rain in this area. But yeah, we do finally have a closed low. We now have enough convection, and we now have a tropical storm Bonnie. Took a while, took forever, but eventually it happened. Is there anything else I need to talk about before I close off the stream?
I do also want to mention that now named Tropical Storm Bonnie, in regards to the question if it will grow any stronger, they do still have the hurricane watch in effect for Nicaragua and the northern coast of Costa Rica at the moment. So yes, it could potentially strengthen to that point. However, it still only has anywhere between 16 to 20 hours until landfall. So it will remain to be seen. Like Aria said, they will be doing another longer stream tonight to cover the landfall of Bonnie. And if y'all would like some more info on that, just go ahead and check out the stream later tonight.
We also have a Discord. You can join our Discord. We will answer any questions you have. We will talk you through the storm as much as we can. We will inform you about the storm and give you our latest thoughts, predictions, and our latest opinions on the storm and what impacts it will bring. Majority of the impacts are going to stay the same. You will have strong winds. If this stays as strong as they're still saying it will, 100 they're saying 60 miles an hour upon landfall, 60 or roughly we'll just say 60 miles an hour upon landfall, strong winds, a little bit of shear is possible, but I don't think shear is going to be a huge issue with the storm at all. I do think that there's going to be a lot of heavy rain with this storm, regardless regardless if it develops anymore. There's already heavy rain approaching the coasts of Nicaragua and Costa Rica right now, and that's going to move onshore as the storm continues to make its way off to the west at about 18 miles an hour. There it is, disturbance becomes a tropical storm. Just got that notification on my phone.
Yep.
Is there anything else I need to talk about? I'll be honest, I'm starving, and I kind of want breakfast.
Yeah, I think other than now that we have tropical storm Bonnie, we also, of course, just a reminder, we also will be seeing a landfall in China, a typhoon. So just to remind y'all about that as well. That is also going on, and other than that, we do not currently have any other tropical storms that and the other storm that is companioning with Chaba.
Yes, and with Chaba, God, is it tomorrow? Tomorrow is what tomorrow is Saturday. So tonight we're gonna do a live coverage of obviously Bonnie making landfall, and then obviously we'll be doing live coverage of Chaba making landfall. I think tomorrow is what we're gonna do it. And the latest update just came out. It is now at 70 miles per hour, 60 knots. So Chaba is now approaching typhoon intensity or hurricane intensity, however you want to look at it. All right.
Other than that, I think that is it.
Yeah, that is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you all for joining the stream. That is going to be it for today. Thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, and we will talk to you later this evening. Peace out.